back block, and that's
the guy that rolls his body around.
Mike Drop Sports. Steel City Live.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Steel City Live here on Mike Drop Sports. After the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers take control of the AFC North yet again, it has been a flip-flop season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Back and forth inside of the AFC North lead, falling back out, falling back up to, or sliding back to the top. But yet here they sit after a 27-22 victory over the Baltimore Ravens in a game that's been highly controversial for a reason that I don't think needs to be controversial. That was not a catch by Isaiah Likely, whether we like it or not, whether we like the rule or not, as Ravens fans or Steelers fans, whatever, as NFL fans, it doesn't matter. The rule's the rule. And when the rules apply, the rules apply. And it's just the way it goes, man. Yes, there's sometimes ways around rules, and sometimes things work out, where the rules aren't totally followed, but whatever. The Steelers were the benefactor of a rule that has been in the NFL. It's what it is, and the Steelers benefited from that. Does that change that game completely? Maybe. Who knows? We don't know. Nobody knows. But again, the Steelers back on top, 7-6, dropping the Baltimore Ravens to 6-7, basically giving them that tiebreaker and giving them that game lead over top of them. So what works out to like a 2-game lead, really, if you think about it. So when you hold a tiebreaker, now you got to roll into that Week 18 matchup against the Ravens. That's going to be a huge one, no matter what is the way it seems. The way this schedule seems to be shaking out. The Steelers face the Miami Dolphins next week, December 15th on Monday Night Football, then travel to Detroit, then travel to Cleveland. So not an easy road. The Cleveland Browns seem to be heating up a little bit under Shedeur Sanders. Can the Steelers corral yet a second rookie quarterback for the Cleveland Browns in that week 17 matchup against the Cleveland Browns? Can the Steelers go on the road in a hostile environment in Detroit and be able to withstand that pressure from a very good football team? There are several tests that remain in front of the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this division. It is not cut and dry just because they beat the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, the Ravens face a difficult schedule too. They face difficult tests. And that's why I firmly believe that the Steelers Ravens saga of 2025 has yet to be fully completed. In week 18, I feel like that's going to give the NFL exactly what they want, and that is a Steelers Ravens matchup for all the marbles in week 18 at home in Acrisure Stadium. And I fully believe that's what's going to transpire here, guys, as we move forward. What's up, Big Grim Medusa? Thank you, man. Appreciate that, Zachary. What's up, Sean in the house? What's up, man? Sean says, it's nice to get a win against the Baltimore Ravens, but I am disgusted with the fourth quarter. The defense got torched and the offense couldn't move the ball at all. Yeah, the second half Steelers seemed to show up a little bit there, no doubt about it. I feel like they were able to weasel their way out of it a little bit. Had they had a couple big plays, but you figure 17 points in the first half scored by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they weren't able to duplicate that same type of energy in the second half, which would have been nice, just a duplicate performance, a simple duplicate performance puts the Pittsburgh Steelers, into the 30s. And that's something that, would have been really, really cool to see from the Pittsburgh Steelers if they were able to do that and score that on the road in Baltimore. 8 total yards on 9 plays across 3 drives in the fourth quarter. Pathetic. Yeah, and they have a ton to clean up, dude. A ton to clean up, and they got to be better than that. They got to be better than that because this is the reality of it, guys. You can't win in the playoffs. Here's how it sits right now. As Sean brings up that 9 plays across those drives, 8 total yards in the fourth quarter. You talk about right now, if the season were to end right now and you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, who would be coming into town into Acrisure Stadium in the wild card round? That's the Buffalo Bills, a team that absolutely just dismantled the Steelers in the second half of that game at Acrisure Stadium. Would that be a repeat performance? Yeah, probably. Why? Because the Steelers right now aren't equipped to go into the playoffs and win any ball games. I don't think any team inside of the AFC North right now can win in the playoffs right now. I just don't. I don't see it happening. I don't see Baltimore or Pittsburgh, the two teams that have a chance to make it to the playoffs right now, to be good enough to compete in the AFC conference playoffs. I just don't see it. So perhaps the Steelers start to find a little bit of rhythm. Aaron Rodgers was able to move the football down the field. I do think the presence of veteran guys like Adam Thielen, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, I do think those guys provided a little bit of relief for DK Metcalf. And I also believe that losing Darnell Washington was a massive blow in the second half. And it really stifled the Pittsburgh Steelers offensively because they didn't have to account for him anymore. That freed them back up to do some other things with other players. I think you still need to figure out how to get Pat Fryermuth involved. I still feel like you need to figure out how to get the rest of the receivers involved. And I think that that definitely starts to loosen things up. The run game's got to be better. But the defense, too. You can't give up 400 yards and expect to win. It's just not something that you can do. You've got to be able to be better than that. Do you have to be a ton better than that? No, because I thought they rose up in big moments. I thought that there were bright spots, but the bright spots definitely get weighed out, get kind of blinded, get muddy the waters a little bit for some of the bad things that they did. Robert says, I want to be excited, but I know better. If the Steelers get to 9 wins, the division crown is likely won, and the Steelers would get a home playoff game and lose as an underdog on home field. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks to have a team make the playoffs, and get a home playoff game and be the underdog, be the team that probably is going to lose that game. If this was a young up and coming team, I would be pumped up getting into the playoffs, but this is anything but a young team on the rise. Yeah, this is a team that needed to find itself a long time ago throughout this season in 2025. They needed to figure it out a while ago, and they haven't been able to get on that consistent pattern. And that is the problem here, guys. The Steelers have had really good signature wins, so you know they can beat good football teams. They beat the Patriots, they beat the Colts. They beat the Ravens here just this week. They've beat good football teams. They've beat decent football teams. Teams that are sitting at the tops of the AFC conference in the 1-2 seed. Like I said, the New England Patriots. They've beaten those teams. But they've not been able to remain consistent, and that's the problem. The Steelers never play a full 60 minutes of pedal to the metal football. They let off the gas in the fourth quarter and almost lost us the damn game. Yeah, I don't think they let off the gas. I just don't think that they were matching up the way they were in the first half. I think the absence of Darnell Washington was a far greater loss than a lot of people want to admit right now. I think that that's got to be the thing that most people look at is when you lost Darnell Washington. I think that that was the biggest issue. Um, Robert was talking to Sean. What's up, Justin Menike? Uh, Imagine if Pittsburgh brought in John Gruden. I want that. Yeah, I mean, I'm down for a coaching change too. I've just seen enough of Mike Tomlin, so it is what it is, man. I'm down to get rid. I'm down for something different. I'm just down for a change. I want to see a new direction of the franchise. I want to see a fresh start. I want to see something a little bit different. What Sean say? Baltimore got a taste of the Jesse James rule. Yeah, yeah. Again, it was definitely not a catch. The rule is the rule, and the Steelers have been, the team that suffers from rules before, being enacted. So I don't feel bad for anybody. I don't feel that the Steelers stole anything. I just think the Steelers were on the right end of something. That's it, and it is what it is. What's up, Mark Collins? Good to see you. Danny George in the house. What's up, Danny George? Justin Menike says, If the Steelers get a home playoff game, do they got a shot to win it, in your opinion? The answer is no for me. I mean, they got a shot, of course, but do I think down deep in the heart of hearts that I'd be pumped up for it? Probably not. I'd be pumped up to see a game, no doubt. It's a home playoff game. I'd be excited about that. But am I going to sit here and act like I think that they're going to go and do something special in that round? No, I think they're going to be early exit, like a typical Mike Tomlin football team. Zos Curry Grimadusa says we can't be reserved, which we always go into that mode after we get a lead. It is an aging Rodgers. Is it an aging Rodgers? No. You've seen this from the Steelers for years. That's the problem. You've seen this over and over and over. This same story has been written no matter who is behind center, no matter what the circumstance. The Steelers have steadily found themselves in a position to where they definitely just I don't know if it's taking their foot off the gas or it's just Mike Tomlin in the schematic way they approach the game. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I really don't know why a football team just dies off after getting a lead. I don't understand what they're doing here. I don't think anybody has that answer because I think if the answer was known, maybe they wouldn't be doing it. I just don't know, but it definitely's got to change, no doubt about that, man. Mark Collins says, I think we need to sign defensive tackle Christian Wilkins to help this defensive lineman in a run game if he is healthy. They got to do something. Derek Harmon's absence has definitely been missed. You look at the games without Derek Harmon. Just simply look at the games that they don't have Derek Harmon, and it's astronomical, the difference. Are there times where Derek Harmon's been in there and they've given up some yards? Yeah, but it's not been 200-yard performances or anything like that. They're definitely a much, much better football team defensively in the trenches with Derek Harmon in there. And that's what they need back. That's what they got to have. JD, what's up, man? Good to see a big JD in a house. Robert Rhodes says, if the Bengals beat the Ravens, they are toast unless the Steelers lose to the Browns and Ravens. Yeah, you look at the Steelers' record right now inside of the AFC North. They have a win against all three of their opponents, and they've beaten everybody one time, at least. And Cincinnati they split with, so they've played them twice, but they still have to play Cleveland and Baltimore each one more time each. But yeah, they're 3-1 inside of the division right now. They've played 4 games, so 3-1. It's a typical Steeler though team. They do really well in the division. The only team that really gives them fits inside of the division, if you think about it and you look at the statistics, is the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that basically they're about 500 against throughout. I think since 2020, we did a show a long time ago on that when we were talking about that. And you look at Lamar Jackson's record against the Steelers, despite last season, he's been non-existent, and the Steelers have basically owned him. They need a nose tackle against the run. Yeah, they definitely got to start showing up against the run, and that's where Derek Harmon comes into play. I think Y.A. Black needs to be better and get more reps. I think Keanu Benton got to be out of there. I hate to say that, guys. I like Keanu Benton, but I just don't think he fits for what the Steelers need. I think Keanu Benton hurts the Steelers right now, and I think you need to see more Y.A. Black, more Derek Harmon when he's healthy and able to go. And you need to see way less of Keanu Benton. I think Keanu Benton can make a splash play here or there, but the consistency isn't there. The run game stuffing isn't there that you need from that area of the Steelers' defensive front. Are they not putting back in for? Are they not putting back Black in for D-line? He needs to be in there way more than Benton. His reps got to be increased. He's definitely much better against the run, in my opinion, than Benton. So Benton's got to get up out of there, man. Benton's just killing the Steelers, man. Especially he's hobbled right now. He's hobbled in the game, and you kept seeing him out there. So I don't know. I think more snaps a guy like Y.A. Black, a young guy like Y.A. Black can get. I think the more you'll start to see The Steelers play defense a little bit better in the run game. Mark Collins, the Steelers offense can't run the football consistently, and they cannot stop the run on defense consistently. Yeah, and it's not a recipe to win, man. You can't win football games like that. It's definite a recipe that's for disaster in reality. You know what I mean? You just definitely can't deal with that, man, and it's a definite problem. Let's keep going. Robert Road, Cowher was known for taking the air out of the ball, but they were able to impose their will and run the clock out. That's from Robert Road. Um, yeah, definitely, definitely. Za says Cowher got his only Super Bowl from a bottom of the barrel wild card spot by the hair of the chin. I believe the Bengals will beat the Ravens next week, and early bye week will start to show as time goes. Yeah, but when we compare Cowher though to Tomlin, they both appeared in the same amount of Super Bowls so far in their career. Two. Bill Cowher's 1-1. Mike Tomlin is 1-1 in Super Bowls. Again, same record, same amount of appearances in the Super Bowl for both head coaches. But when I give the edge right now to Bill Cowher, if you ask me, it's because Bill Cowher appeared in a ton of AFC championship games, a ton of playoff games. They were, in my opinion, a lot more consistent inside the tournament. That's where I think Cowher edges out Mike Tomlin. Um, Again, I'm appreciative from what Mike Tomlin's brought to the city of Pittsburgh. I am. I just am ready for a fresh start. I am. I think he's definitely, in my opinion, fail stale. And I just think it's time for a new path. What's up, Big Grant in the house? He says, I've seen Baltimore's schedule, Bengals, Pats, Packers. They definitely could lose all of those games. Yeah, very easily the Baltimore Ravens could finish with 7 wins. That could very easily happen here, guys. I could see them only winning one of those games. Definitely. I think the Pats beat them. I think the Packers beat them, and I think they get back against the Bengals. That's what I think happens here, and then they got to go against the Steelers. But I think that could happen. But I easily think the Steelers could fall into a trap against the Miami Dolphins. I think that could be a problem. I definitely think Detroit could be a problem, and I think Cleveland is going to be a win for the Steelers. I think they'll be able to edge that out. And I think they beat Baltimore. So I think they split these last four. I think they go 2-2. I think that gives what the Steelers 8 losses, so they'll finish with 10 wins. Right, 9 wins, 9-8. So yeah, they'll be 9-8 and win the AFC North. That's how I feel like it goes, in my opinion. Maybe, but then again, maybe these games come down to where you see Baltimore, Pittsburgh really matter in Week 18. Robert Road, if the Bengals win out, they would be 8-9 with a 5-1 record inside the division. The Steelers may need to win both the Baltimore and Cleveland games to win the division. That could happen, yeah, mathematically, yes. Man, that could happen. The Bengals lose one more time, they're definitely out for sure, mathematically, even too. I believe. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that definitely is a scenario that I hadn't thought about either, Robert. So that's pretty good. 8-9 with a 5-1 record inside the division. Yeah, the Steelers could easily finish 8-9 too. They could easily only win one more game this year. And if that happens, you definitely got to have that to be a division game because man, well that would suck because Cincinnati would have a better division record because the Steelers play 2 divisional foes. So man, yeah, man, that's tough. That could suck. How weird would it be for Cincinnati to sneak in at 8-9 and win the AFC North? How fucking crazy would that be, guys? How absolute nuts would that be? That would be so batshit crazy, man. All right, guys, like, share, and subscribe here. We appreciate it here on Mike Drop Sports. What's up, Armand? I'm here. Haven't seen you in a while. You were right. Washington injury was big. Pittsburgh D line not impressive. Take Penn's getting good again in Pittsburgh. Take care. P.S. I'm not a Con Rooney nor Tomlin DC OC fan. Yeah, man. We'll see what happens here, but yeah, definitely Washington was a huge one. Cowher's bottom of the playoff team that won the Super Bowl was 11-5 in the regular season. Yeah, that was 11-5, the sixth seed at 11-5, guys. They were the first sixth seed to ever win a Super Bowl championship. They ran the table, man. Basically, in the back half of that year, they just fucking ran the table, and that was a magical year to be a Steeler fan in that season. That '05 season where they won the Super Bowl in '05 under Bill Cowher and the youngest quarterback at the time to win a Super Bowl, Ben Roethlisberger. Wow, what an amazing ride that season was, because it was full of so many highs and lows, and that back half of the season was just fucking unreal, dude. Unreal. I was definitely on the fire Mike train last year, but I got to see how this season pans out. That's from Za. And that's your right as a fan. You know, you got to see how it goes. You want to see it in totality. You want to see how this all pans out. Yeah, so yeah, I don't blame you, but I still just want to see a fresh start. That's just all I'm about, guys. There's another for the Wilkins signing. Good idea for the D line. The only thing about signing some of these guys, you got to remember, friends, is that you got to drop somebody else off. You just don't pick people up and then be able to stash. There's so many other variables into just picking people up too. You know what I mean? Practice squads and 53 mans, and there's just a lot of stuff that you got to pay attention to with that too. So maybe they could do something like that. Maybe there's room for that. Maybe they let somebody go that they are not into anymore. I don't know. That would definitely be something interesting to see how that would pan out. But I'm down for any addition that makes the team better. Zaw says seventh seed isn't hot for playoffs records present or not. Yeah, you're talking about since the seventh seed has been implemented. Yeah, no, they're not very hot. I think they've only got a few wins, if that many. What's up, Daniel Barry? Sports highlights in the house. What's up, man? Rubber Road, Miami is not a great matchup. They can really run the football. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. That's why I said that this Miami game isn't a given win, man. Miami's won many of their last, 5 games? Something like that. They've definitely been winning. And they've definitely improved since the beginning of the season, no doubt. What's up, Challenger? He says, I want Steelers to take care of their own business, not back in. Yeah, I can't deal with another season of the Steelers needing a bunch of help to get in the fucking playoffs, guys. I'm tired of that. I'm so sick of the Steelers needing help from people. I want them to make it in on their own accord. I don't want help. I don't want to just back in or barely make it, man. I want the Steelers to come in and do it big. I hope they run the table, man. I hope this Steelers team. This is my hopes, guys, and I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but this is my hopes that this Steelers football team found itself in Baltimore. And I understand that there was 400 yards given up on defense. I understand that, but they were able to do some nice things in big moments. They were able to stifle that Ravens offense when need be. So my hopes are this, that you start to see a Steelers team that is different, and that you start to see a Steelers team get on a roll a little bit. That's my hopes. That game in Baltimore birthed something extraordinary to see for the end of this year. For the end of this time uh, in the 2025 season. That's what I'm hoping, man. I haven't looked into it today, man. I was doing a lot of stuff. I don't know. Derek Hartman was suffering from that knee injury, so we'll see what happens there. But hopefully he's back soon. But I'm not sure. If anybody has any Derek Hartman updates, let me know. I did not look today if there was any updates on his injury status as of today. Anything new? Devin Burkett, six-time Super Bowl champion Pittsburgh Steelers, roast the Ratbirds for an early Christmas present. Was not pretty, but doesn't need to be. Here we go, Steelers, Sixburg, 6 rings, no cheating. Amen, man. Amen. It doesn't need to be pretty, and that is football too, and I want everybody to realize that too. Um, I want everybody to realize that it doesn't need to be pretty, man. It does not need to be pretty at all. Nothing needs to be pretty with this bullshit. You just got to win. And I don't give a fuck if you score 2 points, but if you win, you win. I'm happy with that. Um, but they got to find ways to win. And that's what we need to see from them continually, week after week. Finding ways to win, being able to stay inside of the game, stay inside of the flow of the game and figure it out. Just figure out each and every week how to get it done. So, yeah, I don't care how you win. Just fucking win, man. And that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, I mean they're a 6-7 football team. The Steelers didn't have anything to do with and the officiating before they were when they were 6-6. So, they got a lot more to blame than officiating for the way their season has transpired. One, Lamar Jackson's not healthy at all. You can tell that very easily by looking at him. But still, they've definitely done their self in a lot of instances. They can blame whatever they want, and Steeler fans do that too. Steeler fans will fucking whine and cry about officiating too. But you know what? I will say this about both sides of it, Ravens and Steelers fans, or any team in the NFL. The officiating does fucking blow in the National Football League. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I think they for sure dictate some of these games. I'm convinced. I'm convinced that they do. Maybe I'm wrong, but the officiating blows, man, blows badly. So yeah. All right, guys, like, share, and subscribe for us here on Steel City Live as we are here on a victory Monday as the Pittsburgh Steelers improved to 7-6, atop of the AFC North. Definitely something to keep in mind here as the Steelers are going and continuing with this schedule. It's not going to get any easier, guys. It's not going to get any easier. But I wanted to make sure that we look at this right quick. This right now is the current AFC North standings as we bring that up here on Mike Drop Sports right now. Steelers 7-6, Ravens 6-7, Bengals 4-9. The Browns 3-9 right now as the AFC North stands. The Steelers have a 3-1 record inside of the division. The Bengals right now could potentially finish better than the Steelers inside of that if the Steelers stumble against Ravens and Cleveland, but we'll see how that all goes. But I wanted to bring that up for you guys. The Kansas City Chiefs fell last night. That's taken another team that's been perennial Super Bowl contenders year in and year out of the mix. I think the Chiefs might miss the playoffs this year, guys. The Texans were able to get that done. A young football team led by a really, really solid young man in C.J. Stroud. I had a lot of reservations about C.J. Stroud coming out of college. I didn't think he was going to be able to process at an NFL level quickly enough. I didn't think that he was going to be able to get that done. But he has proved me wrong, and I really, really love the way C.J. Stroud puts God first, and really, really, really looks like he's having a lot of fun out there, and it's starting to really, really show for that Houston Texans team. Steel 43, 16, 7. So we're back to praising checkdowns and go balls, huh? Shaking my head, same old, same old. I am definitely not praising checkdowns or go balls. I am praising go balls because you want to hit them. But checkdowns, though, too, guys, we have to think about this. Checkdowns are a necessity. You have to have them. You have to be able to hit them when necessary. But I think checkdowns definitely make a lot more sense when you could get a guy like Jalen Warren to spring for a bunch of yards. But I think sometimes the Steelers do go way too hard on the check down happy bullshit. But what's open downfield? I think that has a big to do with it too. Are you not getting the production and separation that you're needing down the field? Is that why we hit those checkdowns a ton? And the answer is yes. You're not getting that separation. You're not getting the protection from the offensive line. You looked at what the Baltimore Ravens were doing yesterday. They were not rushing a ton of people. Aaron Rodgers had time, but yet still at moments was still under distress. and he looked very, very young and agile out there at times yesterday, despite being injured, despite all that stuff, despite being 42 years old. So hey, we'll just see how that goes, man. But it's definitely kind of crazy to know that, yeah, some of those checkdowns were good plays. But man, they got to be able to start rhythmically passing, guys. And I keep saying that. And I thought when they hit DK for that big one to open up the game yesterday, I thought that that was going to open things up for guys like Darnell Washington and Pat Fryermuth across the middle. I thought it was going to open things up for guys like Adam Thielen and to let Aaron Rodgers get in a rhythmic passing game, allowing them to exploit the intermediate passing game across the middle. That short to intermediate game's got to be put into the arsenal here. That's the only thing that's going to help this run game, in my opinion. It's the only thing that's going to help that deep passing game to be consistent, too. If you can't utilize the middle of the field and utilize that rhythmic passing game, you're screwed. And I say it every week, but it never happens. And that is about being able to stand in the pocket, being on time, being in a rhythm. And you don't see that from the Steelers. You see a big chunk play or a splash play from the check down. You don't see the rhythm passing game that you need to see in order to be a champion in this league. Guys, and until you start to see that, yeah, I don't see it changing, guys. Let's go. Challenger says, only call I found questionable was the boss field goal when he got a first down. Oh, when we got a first down. You're talking about the call where they called the guys that were shooting a gap over top of the center. That was an illegal play. So that's been an initiative to protect those long snappers because of the way they have to be in that compromising position. So there are certain rules that are allocated there, which you all know that. Do I think one was violated there? I think there was a fine line on it, but I think both of those guys, both of the defenders crashed into that gap in the same way that possibly it could be called that way. I think there was a fine line being walked, no doubt about it. But you're right; it was definitely probably the most questionable. Challenger 3-10 Browns, 3-10, yeah, 3-9. So right now, right? Yeah, they're 3-9. F Kansas City. I hear you, man. Now you got me questioning. Aren't they 3-9? Yeah, they're 3-9. Let's go back. Justin says, "What year do you think the Steelers finally win a playoff game or more?" It's got to be a complete overhaul, Justin, in my opinion. I think maybe you got to like start to see young talent being inserted in the most important positions, i.e., the quarterback, i.e., some of the wide receiver positions, and you're going to have a tandem uh, to grow offensively together. In my eyes, a quarterback and a young receiver, and starting to get that going to get the offense moving. And I think you need to see the defensive front be a little bit more dominant. You got guys like Cam Hayward that are old. I think it is promising there with guys like Y.A. Black and Derek Harmon. I think those were two special picks, in my opinion. I think that's going to definitely eventually pay off to be really, really huge. I think the Steelers have definitely went in the right direction with the offensive line, in my opinion. I know it doesn't seem like it right now, but there's a lot of young, very young, good talent there that needs a few more pieces in order to be special. You look at Fatanu, you look at Zach Frazier. There are two special pieces there, at key positions. So hopefully they are able to continue to build off of that. I think there is some upside there, some tremendous upside. But as far as when that's going to happen, I think that that's a big question mark, and I don't think really it's a time right now in the Steelers' history to be able to predict when that next time may be. Maybe it's this year. I doubt it, but I don't know. I really, really don't know. I think they got to really step up and do some different things, man. Roster management wise. The Texans have the best defense in the NFL. They are definitely playing really, really well. I like C.J. Stroud. I like their defense. I like the Texans right now. I think if you're talking about hot teams in the NFL that you should be worried about, I think the Texans got to come up there as one of the tops on your list. Um, Zoss says I only follow the Steelers, so Rodgers fan 12. I think he plays a big role. I think that you don't see 200-yard run games if Harmon's in there. Um, I think the proof's in the pudding statistically. Go back and do yourselves a favor and look at the games that Derek Harmon played and look how many rushing yards the Steelers have given up during those games. Am I saying it's always perfect? No, but it's definitely not what you see right now without him. You're seeing 200 yards consistently put up against the Steelers here week after week after week. And that's an issue, guys. A real fucking issue. Sorry, guys. I need to fix my chair. I kept feeling like I'm falling down like this. And I am like, it was bugging me. Yeah, it's a real fucking issue, guys. We got to figure it out. Challenger says, I thought Rodgers and DK both had good games, although we got conservative in the second half. Run defense still sucks. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if it's conservative or just, man, they were missing a piece. I think they were still trying to do what they were doing in the first half. I don't think that they went into some conservative shell or anything. I think they were definitely trying to do those same things. But I think that definitely when you're missing pieces that are an integral part of your game plan, I think it definitely hurts. I know, though, it seems like that for sure. And I agree. I feel the same way, but I don't know if it's necessarily that. Tom Ford says, I don't mean to sound like a downer, but I think the Ravens actually won that game. I don't. And I get what you're saying, Tom. I see why you're saying it. But I don't think they won that game. How many times has the Steelers lost games on shitty calls? How many times have the Steelers been screwed? A lot. But you know what? Every team has. And every team has been the benefactor, and every team has been the team that, paid the price for it and taken a loss for it. So every team has gotten those things. I don't think they were bad calls. That Isaiah Likely call was something that you guys got to remember. They practiced that. They practice that on a pretty heavy basis, man. If you watch practice like clips of receivers catching balls like at the Latrobe and things of that nature, and you always see the defender pop the ball out and hit the ball out, right? You always see that. That they're practicing that situation right there. That Isaiah Likely touchdown was called a no touchdown, and it's the right call. They practice that, so definitely, I don't think that was a bad call. I know where people can think it was, but in reality, that's the rule. And if you really watch the Steelers practice sometime, you will see that. You'll see them do that. And I think maybe it'll give you a little bit different perspective. Maybe. But I can definitely see why, though, you say that. I agree. Tom says that touchdown should have stood. Not by rule, Tom. Not by rule. It shouldn't. And I would, you know me, man. I am the first to call out and say things that are not, or take things out that are not true. You know what I mean? I am the first to say that if I think something definitely is a foul. I would not defend the Steelers if I thought it was definitely a call that should have went the Ravens' way. I think it was a good call, actually. I think the rules are in place, and they followed those rules and made the correct call. Whether I agree with the rule or not, that's a different story. But as far as the rules and the way they are printed and the way that they are explained and constructed, that was a no touchdown. What's up, Extra Black? He says, so what's the problem with the run game? Everyone wanted Najee gone, even with a worse offensive line when he was here. Jalen Warren is not better than Najee, 35 rushing yards. I don't think you see Jalen Ward on a consistent enough basis to really dictate whether or not he's better or worse than Najee Harris in terms of being an every down runner. I don't think you see that from Jalen Ward. You don't get to see that consistency in terms of amount of carries. Najee Harris got the ball on a fucking regular. You know what I mean? So yeah, let me see, guys. Hold on one second. If I got these from yesterday, the rushing yards, I got to find them from yesterday. But I do know that I have them here somewhere. I just got to bring them up right here. Yeah, let's look at these real quick. Extra black, real quick. Let's see how many carries he had. So let's talk about it real quick. We want to talk about Jalen Warren not being maybe as good as Najee Harris was last year or has been. You're giving Jalen Warren 8 carries in a game in Baltimore, and that's been the theme for Jalen Warren. The Steelers ran the football a total of 15 times yesterday. Um, well, actually 16 because Aaron Rodgers had a run for a touchdown. So you look at that and you say to yourself, how can you compare him to a running back that got 25 carries, 22 to 25 carries a game on a consistent basis and what it at least seemed like with Najee Harris? I know he at least averaged probably 18 to 20 carries a game without a doubt. But when you see Jalen Warren get handed the football over 10 times, I feel like you do see production from him. And that is something that I think is an issue. When you don't get the football, you can't manufacture anything in terms of the run game. So that's just part of what I think may be the problem. But it is what it is. We got to just continue to see how it goes. I don't think much is going to change. They're not 3-10, bro. They're 3-9. That was right after they lost yesterday. I may be wrong though. You may be right. That was I printed that or I put that on there right after the game. So maybe their game wasn't over yet. That's a possibility. You might be right, Challenger. So what is it? Week 13? Have they had their bye yet? Or I'm sure they have. They may be. You might be right. I don't know. I got to look again. I didn't update it. That was from yesterday's show. I just brought up and put up there. Not a catch. Must maintain possession. Yeah, you got to make a football move, and that's that third foot in reality, guys. Rodgers fan, where are the Steelers at left tackle heading into Monday night with the injuries? You're going to look right now at Dylan Cook. That's where you're looking because Broderick Jones isn't eligible to come back for at least, I think, 3 weeks or something like that. I don't think you see Broderick Jones for a little while longer. I would say at least 3 weeks in my eyes. I'm pretty sure it's 3 weeks. So yeah, you're looking at Dylan Cook right now because Andreas Pete, 11-year NFL veteran, most recently with the Saints, I believe, before becoming a Steeler, is in concussion protocol. So that's definitely going to be an issue. I don't think though that what you call it play bad. I don't. I mean, I'm trying to remember everything that he played. Dylan Cook, I'm trying to remember his performance as best I can. I don't think it was horrible. I think they helped him out there a little bit to start, and I think he held his own. But guys, I don't think the offensive line played horribly, but definitely needed more push, especially um, against the front that they were blocking. I think they could have ran the ball way better. Browns lost to Titans. They are 3-10. You may be right, man. That was yesterday after I put, whenever I went on the show. So the Browns game might not have been over. So you might have been right. I had to look again. Regardless, they're a shitty football team. Not a catch. Must maintain possession, not drop it. The ball deflecting off your hand isn't a football move. Mark Collins, Black did have more plays at nose than Benton Sunday. Well, there you go. I think that that's consistent. I think that needs to be more. I do. I just think because why? I think Benton has already shown us he can't really be really great against the run, and I would like to just get more snaps for a young guy because I think like the young guy could definitely have maybe a higher ceiling. And I'm not saying Benton's an old guy. I'm just saying the younger, the rookie. Maybe you could get more out of him eventually. That's just my theory. Warren has 652 yards so far this year with 4 games to go. He won't even get 1,000 for the year. Yeah, and I agree, Extra Black. If you look at that, but how many carries did Najee Harris have at this point last year, and how many carries does Jalen Warren have at this point this year? Or how many carries? Uh, what's the difference? That look that up real quick, Extra Black, and let's see what that is. I don't got the ability to do it real quick. Somebody look up how many carries Najee Harris had, and put that in there, and we'll see. You know what I mean? Because I think that that's going to be a vast difference. It's hard to expect a guy that gets half the carries. Literally, I'm really certain that he gets probably half the carries of Najee Harris, um, to compare him. You can't compare him to somebody that gets double carries more than him. It's just not fair to do to Jalen. And if you would actually like put it into perspective and say, okay, Jalen Warren has half the carries of Najee Harris. Just say, I don't know if this to be true. Just say right now, if you were to say week 14 last year, week 14 this year for Jalen Warren, week 14 last year for Najee Harris, just say Najee Harris had I don't know. We're just going to pull a number 200 carries at this point. We'll just say that. And he had X amount of yards, but Jalen Warren has had, 85, 90 carries and has 650, whatever that is. You know what I mean? I think that makes a tremendous difference in what we're talking about when you're comparing Warren to Harris. I feel for Daniel Jones. Kids was having it. Yeah, me too, man. That sucks, dude. I feel bad for him. That does blow. I feel bad for injuries, period. I don't want to see nobody injured, despite if I like them or not as a player. I don't want to see nobody injured. These guys feed their kids this way. That's their job. Mr. Stiller fan, this is a momentum win. Let's go with the flow and put the foot on the necks of the Dolphins on Monday Night Football. I hope so, man. That'd be awesome. All right, guys, make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing here on Steel City Live. I'd appreciate that. Make sure you hit the hype button. We truly appreciate all the support. Tomorrow night, I will not be doing a show on Tuesday. We have wrestling practice and basketball practice. I do coach basketball. I don't coach wrestling because I have no clue how to coach it. But yeah, I do coach basketball, so we'll be going from wrestling to basketball and then to home. And kid got homework and stuff too. So no show tomorrow. We will be back Wednesday, I do believe, Wednesday or Thursday. Like I told you, we're going to do 3 weekday shows, and then we're going to do our weekend stuff. Sometimes Saturday and Sunday, sometimes just Sunday. Just depends. But just make sure you guys tune in, have your questions and comments, and all your thoughts ready to roll, and we'll just have some good shows. I think that will be better too. I think you get oversaturated sometimes when we do it every single day. Challenger likely play goes back to Calvin Johnson in 2009. Porter made a hell of a play. Yeah, I agree. You play through. You play through. And again, guys, they practice that. I'm telling you. I know I've seen them practice that a gazillion times. Warren has had 13 yards rushing on 8 carries. The Steelers had 34 rushing yards on 17 carries. Rodgers saved us big time. Absolutely. The run game was non-existent yesterday. There ain't no excuse for that. Ponzi scheme. A rule is a rule. True. Craig Werlow, any news on DK injury? Can't afford to have him and Washington out. No, Craig, I got to look into injuries. We'll do an injury update next show. But I didn't see any new news about anything concerning DK Metcalf in terms of his injury or injury. Rodgers fan 12. I've only been a Steelers fan this season because of Rodgers, and I've always heard Tomlin is a future Hall of Fame coach from everyone around the league, but I just don't see it this season. Am I wrong? Um, you know, there's things you love about Mike Tomlin, Rodgers fan 12. There's things you absolutely love about Mike Tomlin. True, there are. And then there's things that absolutely you fucking hate You know, so you take the good with the bad with him. Do I think that he is excellent with people? Yes, I do. I think he is an amazing people person, a player coach. I think he fits that bill 1,000%. Is he a good face of your franchise? A guy that can get up at the podium, take the bullets, take the heat, um, stand up there, speak correctly, say the things that you got to say? Absolutely. Mike Tomlin's that guy. He can do those things. But when I talk about schematic football in terms of um, roster management, sometimes even when I talk about clock management, even things of that nature, sometimes you want to rip your fucking hair out with Mike Tomlin. So again, you got to take the good with the bad with him. Uh, have there been moments Mike Tomlin's been absolutely a Hall of Famer? Yes. Have there been times that he has no business being in the Hall of Fame? Yes. So yeah, it's been a wild ride for Mike. Everybody wants to bring up the non-losing season streak and all that, and that's all well and good. But what matters when you're talking about legendary Steeler coaches is Super Bowls. So I think he needs one more to edge out Bill Cowher. Uh, because I give Bill Cowher the edge again because I said I feel like he had better playoff success in totality than Mike Tomlin. Um, if you look at the percentage in the wins and the lot, whatever, you look at it in totality. I think Bill Cowher is better playoff coach than Mike Tomlin. Yes, they have the same Super Bowl record and things of that nature, but that's just my opinion. So I think if Mike Tomlin wants to overtake Bill Cowher as that second best Steelers head coach over the years, and you don't got many to choose from, there's only three. I think he needs to win another title. That's what I think puts Mike Tomlin over top. And that's what I count rings, man. And, maybe if he can figure it out and figure a way out to go get one more, that might put him over it for me. But is he a Hall of Fame coach? I don't know. Um, I would say yes, and I say it why because the lure of Mike Tomlin, like the attraction from the league in terms of how people speak of Mike Tomlin and things of that nature, how much praise they give him. I would say yes, he would be able to get into the Hall of Fame. By today's rules, it was correct. Absolutely. Ponzi. There were bad calls both ways yesterday. Yeah, and that's every game. Again, guys, the officiating fucking blows. Be real, guys. We got to be honest. It is bad rule for being in the end zone, but it is the rule. Absolutely. Yeah, Challenger says Najee's out for the season. Yeah, he's out. Ye, I wouldn't say losing Malik Harrison hurt the run defense bad Sunday, but it did definitely take a toll, Mark. I think he was coming downhill and making some tackles, throughout his time as a Steeler this year. Yeah, you're right, Mr. Steeler fan. Mr. Steeler fan says we will win the AFC North. I hope, man. Thank you guys. I didn't know. Like I said, I just put that on there right after the game, so their game might not have ended, so it might not have updated. You know what I mean? Because I just get those right off the internet, right off of Google, because I want them to try to be the most up to date that they can. So sometimes games don't end. So I appreciate that. Thank you. So what's your revised prediction? 9 wins, 10 wins, 8 wins. What's up, man? Good to see you, my man. Shit. Where are we at now? We're at 7. 7-6 right now. I'm looking at the schedule over here. I'm gonna say I think they split these last four. I think they win two, lose two. I think the two they win are the divisional games. I think they beat Cleveland and Baltimore. I think the my prediction is 9 right now. I think that's how it finishes out 9. I think they lose to Miami and Detroit, give everybody a fucking heart attack here right at the end of the season, and they pull it out by beating Cleveland and Baltimore in the end. That's how I feel like it goes. Matt Burton says 88's blocking has improved. I think it has a little bit, slightly, no doubt. Good to see you, Matt. Oh, okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. See, this is a farce, man. Snowman says, don't get excited. They'll lose games they shouldn't, like always. That's not true, guys. I will talk shit on Mike Tomlin. I will tell you the things that I think are wrong, and I will point out things that are bad for Mike Tomlin. But he does not lose like that to teams that they're supposed to beat, guys. Look at his record of teams they're supposed to be beating, like teams that they should be beating in terms of records and things of that nature. It just doesn't happen. I mean, it happens, but not like at the clip we all think it does. And you know why it feels like it's exaggerated is this is because losses against teams that you really truly believe that the Steelers should beat are just so exaggerated in your mind. You know what I mean? Because they're just tough to bear, you know? All right, guys, I'm going to get up off here. I appreciate all your comments. Thank you, man. Definitely appreciate them. What's up, Daniel? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hank, what's up, man? I don't know. I don't buy that either, Hank. I mean, maybe you're right, but I don't know. I don't know. All right, guys, I got to get rolling here. I'm going to go help my kid finish some homework here and get bouncing and do some things here. Appreciate it. He's been sick here lately. He missed his first wrestling tournament this weekend, so we got to get him back. He looks a little bit better here today, but fever, throwing up, and all that stuff. So hopefully he's back ready to roll for double practice tomorrow and gets going here so we can get school caught back up and all that good stuff too. So. All right, guys. Thank you. I appreciate you all. We will be back again tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Double practice tomorrow for me with youth sports, wrestling and basketball. But we will be back. Yeah, probably Wednesday or Thursday. But anyway, also, guys, a reminder: I will be live down there Monday, December 15th, against the Miami Dolphins as the Steelers are on Monday Night Football. I'll be there, so if you see us, make sure you say what's up down there at Acrisure Stadium in the city of Pittsburgh. So until then, I'm Jason. Peace.
Power takes an approach as a coach. Let's go. Let's go.
It's a peel back block, and that's